You're welcome to Breakfast Central. Thank you for joining us this Thursday edition of the show. As we're counting down to the end of the week. We're streaming live on YouTube via News Central TV Live, where we take your comments and your questions, contribution, disagreement. All of that is very welcome here. My name is Olive MOD, and you're welcome to the show.
You're welcome to the show. My name is Joe Hansen. It's definitely Thursday morning. And don't forget, the trio is not complete because one of the trio has decided to go on a special trip, but he'll be back most definitely on Monday by his grace. We must always add that. But welcome to Breakfast Central. Je suis Joe Hansen. My name is Jonathan Hansen, or Joe Hansen for short.
You say
and
John.
Today, Brandy?
You say John Johansson.
Jonathan.
Okay.
Yeah. So my name is Jonathan.
So short form of Jonathan, is it
I've
John?
always used Joe Hansen all since I started broadcasting.
So from tomorrow, I'll start to call you John.
No, Joe Hansen is fine.
No lie, it's
Pretty
John.
much. Both of them is fine.
Okay, hello, John.
No, John is not it. Apparently, John was my father's name, so it kind of like tallies in
Jonathan,
between.
John.
So you see, Jonathan has a lot inside. You can form so many names. Nathan.
Nate.
Fan.
Fan.
Oh yeah, there's some people. Check it. You find people who
Fan.
like fan. Oh yes. I was shocked when I
That's
said.
more of a
what's his
color,
name?
like
Said
what
fan.
I'm wearing.
Oh, fan, really? What does that mean? Oh yes.
Interesting.
Just like people bear stone. I'm just waiting to see if somebody will bear kuli kuli.
No. It's my Bielsa brethren. Shout out to my Bielsa brethren. They have really lovely names. Someone can be a bicycle, aeroplane. Yeah, I'm not joking.
Yeah,
they have because I schooled in Bielsa State.
I don't mean
so
to chuckle, but
I saw like very interesting names there.
I think for me, the names I even fell in love with mostly are people from Plateau State, from the north, the central north. They have names like
Aondoga.
Yop. I have my niece. Her name is Yop. I have Dale. Those names are very, very. I'm like, Yop.
That's the beauty of our culture. The diversity, like we said in T.Y. Bello and Kosh sang in the song.
Beautiful.
Said our strength is in our diversity.
Nigeria is
anyway, speaking of our diversity, let's move away from Lagos to another place. And this is a story that we've been following for the past 2 days. The Onitsha Head Bridge in Anambra State was blocked on Wednesday as residents staged a protest against the continued closure of the Onitsha main market, ordered earlier in the week by Governor Chukwuma Soludo. Videos shared online on X shows protesters barricading access points to the bridge and chanting slogans such as "No way in and no way out" and "Onitsha to Asaba blocked" as the demonstration intensified and movement was halted. The protests followed the governor's Monday directive imposing a 1-week shutdown of the market, a decision that triggered street protests by traders on Tuesday, during which placards were displayed and solidarity songs chanted, including expressions of support for the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The blockade of the strategic bridge, which connects Anambra and Delta states, reportedly disrupted movement in and out of the state, highlighting growing tensions over the enforcement of the government order. Now let's take a look at the videos. We'll come back to share our thoughts and then we head to X to see what Nigerians are saying.
No market on Monday. No market on Monday. Yes, sir. No market on Monday. Confirm.
Some have argued that shutting down the Onitsha main market as a result of them not showing up to the market on Mondays, like putting fire to fire. And like I said yesterday when I was speaking with the media aide to the governor, I said many would argue that it is spiting your nose or cutting your nose to spite your face. Because if you complain that the state loses approximately 9 billion naira every week when the main market shuts on Monday, but you're willing to shut it down for 7 days, that's 63 billion naira that will be lost in 1 week because of one day's refusal to show up. And then he said the next Monday, if they refuse, he'll shut it down for another week and he'll keep doing it. So are you willing to cripple the economy totally because of the citizens' refusal? Now, the reasons, we did talk about the reasons yesterday, and we talked about how they cited insecurity, because we're aware of people who have been attacked and their businesses have been attacked because of the sit-at-home order. But what we've seen here is Governor Soludo says it's a baseless argument because they have security personnel, about 150 security personnel in the Onitsha main market. So the question is, I mean, the sit-at-home order has stopped in places like Enugu, I heard. So maybe he needs to find out what those other ones did. I looked online and tried to find out what Enugu did. I think they also took a bit of a radical approach. But sometimes you must look for homegrown solutions. What works in state A may not apply to your state. Onitsha main market is a strong pillar in southeastern Nigeria in terms of the economic hub. Is like a fulcrum on which the economy rests. And just totally shutting down because you want to execute your powers as a governor to chase out fear, rightfully so, to stop those who are capitalizing on the movement, you know, understandably, but the methods, what's been criticized. So we're streaming live on X. Let us know what your thoughts are. News Central TV Live is the page to drop your comments. We'll head on to YouTube, rather, to get your comments from the YouTube section. Joe?
Olive, I think we saw this coming. If you recall, we did see this coming. We talked about this yesterday. My worry is the governor's approach is a major worry, and it's a worry. It's a major cause for concern. And I'm just going to say this here. The governor himself should be more circumspect in how he deals with this issue. Reason, this issue can be politicized. And it can be politicized so easily because you have aggrieved persons, you have non-members of ABGA, you have state actors who feel that that result of the court's, the final judgment on Nnamdi Kanu didn't go down well with so many people. So they'll be looking for a way to vent or to show their anger. And what the governor has done is, if he's not careful, he's giving them a medium or a plate or a platform to do so. What do I mean? These aggrieved persons can finally turn around and say, you know what, let's finally cripple this state and let's cripple it completely. And that's what it's starting to look like. Let's not forget the fact that we're not saying it's politicized yet, but it could eventually be politicized because that's where you have political elements who would come in, wield the big stick, have a fat pocket, and then start paying people, incentivizing them, making sure that they have enough so that they can go ahead and wreak havoc. And sadly, those who own shops may not even know what is really going on at a certain point in time because they will not be in full control when it's blown out of proportion. So I think this is the right time for the governor to sit down, follow that approach that was mentioned here when we talked to his essay yesterday, and look at having that meeting, which they said it was going to happen this week. I think it will happen today, or better still, Friday. It was scheduled, but with this protest, we don't know the state of things. But I think it will be good. I'm sure we'll be reaching out to him once again to find out if that meeting will hold today or tomorrow. But it's very imperative and very clear that he needs to fix things now. Failure to fix things now, what we see starting off like, oh, it's just a protest, will end up snowballing to what I don't think the people of Anambra would want to see in a long time to come. Because it will be sad to hear that the market, the entire market space has been shut down. People have now lost their means of livelihood. We did have a guest here, Sheson joined us yesterday, and he highlighted one key aspect I didn't even look at. He said when people don't go to work and you keep them away from work for months, these youths will start looking for alternative to survive, and that's when you have them engaging in vices.
The idle mind is the
idle mind is the devil's workshop, like they say. So again, I think Governor Soludo should stand up right now, try as much as possible to shelve that dictatorship approach of if you don't open your market, I'll do this. No, follow another approach. Try to be soft, empathetic, and try to understand these people.
That's it. For those who haven't been aware that we've been following up with this case, just to mention that some of the concerns raised in the closure of the Onitsha main market as a refusal or as a punishment for refusing to return to the market on Mondays raises several concerns. One, the concern would be, does the governor have the power to insist on when people should or should not return to the market, especially when these citizens are civilians? They're not civil servants, they're not working for the government, they're running their own businesses. Should the governor have the power to insist that they resume work on Monday. Bear in mind that there are businesses that have set up structures where they work all weekends and take the Monday off. 2, the sit-at-home order might not sit well with a lot of people because some of them have cited fears of insecurity. What security measures have been put in place to ensure that citizens feel reassured that their priority or their safety is a priority for the government, as opposed to barely dishing out orders, that the orders are backed up by action, corresponding action. And thirdly, beyond beyond the citizens' safety, there are those who genuinely want to stay at home because they're throwing the support behind Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So is that a conversation that should be revisited? Because you can't look forward without looking back to see what the problems are. What you're doing is you're treating a solution, you're treating the symptoms without actually going to the root cause of the sickness. So why were they disgruntled in the first place? Who are the people that are disgruntled? Who are the ones enforcing what is the core message you're trying to pass? And how can all parties come to the negotiation table? Saying that they should all stay at home, insisting and mandating that the market be closed before 1 week is not the best approach, many would argue. It might be counterintuitive. It might be basically trying to do the same thing that you're preaching against. Because if they miss 1 day on a Monday, missing 7 days will make the market lose more money. But let's see what Nigerians are saying on X, and then we'll come back to take some comments on YouTube.
Izu says Soludo will go down in history as the man who saved Igbo economy from economic saboteurs who had laid siege on Igbo economy. He has the support of a majority of Igbos worldwide to save Igbo land from further economic sabotage. That's Izu's translation or view on this issue. Let's see, we'll have more tweets very quickly. Adeobi Ifunanya says he didn't learn from Wike. Tinubu doesn't need noise in Nigeria. Well, I don't understand.
What that Tinubu doesn't need any noise because he feels like the president can declare state of emergency.
Well, Lionheart.
If the protest takes a different
shape. He should take note. He should take note. Lionheart, when they are done clowning, let them go and open the shops. Let's see. When hunger comes, everybody's eye go clear. And Ndukire Kingsley Nameka says they can continue shouting for another successful week's lockdown. The governor is receiving his salary. Person will not get money to chop will start thinking of how to steal, and this same government will capture the person or the masses who join him. Chairs will still burn him down. Okay, all right. Ndukire says, do we have one more tweet? Let's see if we do. And okay, that's all. But I think the statements are clear. The points are made clear. Just to give an update, by the way, the governor did mention newly affected markets that need to be opened ASAP. If not, the risk being shut down for a while. They are Ochanja Central Market, Bridgehead Market, Ogbaru Main Market, Building Materials Market, Ogidi, Agbaido Auto Spare Parts Market, Newi, and New Auto and Motorcycle Spare Parts Market, Newi. There are many others as well. There's so many. There's Old Mercedes-Benz Spare Parts Dealers Market, Mpo. There's also Old Motor Spare Parts Market, Obosi, and Electrical Dealers International Market, Obosi, amidst, others. So let's see what will happen. Let's hope that this protest will be stopped ASAP as soon as possible by the governor. It's time for him to, put on his shoes, lace up his boots. He's not playing football, but of course, with that knowledge, you understand what I mean. He needs to go straight into the streets and try as much as possible to call for calm and settle this the best way possible. But don't also forget that there are a lot of, as we mentioned, stage actors are watching. This could actually snowball to something else.
Yeah, there was a meeting, stakeholders meeting that happened yesterday at 11 a.m. We haven't gotten the details yet, but we'll reach out to the media team as well. We'll keep reaching out to them and asking them to come on the show, and we'll see, because that will determine how this market issues will turn, what will be the next step. But let's move on now from protest to a very sad, heartbreaking, and disheartening story. Internet personality Eo Prosper has raised alarm after alleging that he was abducted, assaulted, and robbed by men he identified as police officers in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. According to Prosper, the incident occurred while he was on his way to the gym when a bus allegedly conveying police officers intercepted him, forced him inside, and beat him, leaving him with injuries to his ribs. He claimed the men seized his phones, accessed his bank and savings account, and drove him to another local government area where he was pressured to withdraw and transfer money, initially demanding 6 million naira before allegedly taking all the funds he had and abandoning him in a remote area. Describing the experience as traumatic, Prosper said the incident reflects growing insecurity and abuse of power. You see the stories he put up. He said, Nigeria has failed us. So on my way to the gym today, I was double-crossed by a bus with police officers. These guys forced me into their bus. I'm talking serious beating. Injured my rib, took my phones, opened all my accounts, including my piggy, where my savings was. These thieves/kidnappers drove me to another local government and asked me to withdraw everything else they'd waste me. Mind you, these guys asked for 6 million and this was a bush. After making the transfer of all I had, they just left me stranded there like a stray. This is the height of oppression, cannot be tolerated. All my savings. Then it goes on to say, I try as much as possible to lead a good legal life, so tell me why these police robbers put me in handcuffs, beat me to the point where I could barely breathe. You don't even want to see the marks on my face. Accusing me of being into fraud, asked me to call my friends to send me money to complete the 6 million they asked for. Isn't this how kidnappers operate? Or am I missing something? Now, he didn't stop there. He went on to say, this is broad daylight robbery by the police force. How do we live in such an insecure society? I wasn't in a public transport. I wasn't with hard drugs. Nothing. Tell me why I was treated like a criminal. These people took every last kobo, still left me badly hurt, spoiled my iPhone. I literally had to beg a passerby for card. Very humiliating. No means to track them. No surveillance cameras. Nothing. I don't even know what to make of this. What if I had nothing to give? What if I was shot? What if? Thank you all for checking up on me, for all the love. I'm recovering but very much traumatized. To those saying I should go to the police, they came to me first. They should come again, because at this point, I can never see them the same. I'll be putting out a video soon explaining in detail what transpired. Nigeria is just a bad place to be and we're all just managing. If you can leave, please do. And now here's the video that he put out detailing his experience.
I really don't know how to feel about this, because are we supposed to be scared of the police as well as much as we're scared of the thieves, the kidnappers? Because I literally thought these guys were kidnappers. If you see the bus these people used to carry me, there was no glass. Like, it was trampoline. You can't see. If you're outside, you can't see inside, and if you're inside, you can't see outside. They just double-crossed my cab, asked me to come down. The cab guy did nothing. They just took me from Port Harcourt to Bayelsa. They were driving, they were beating me. I have like a bruise in my back. I have one on my rib here. And then thank God, I was just like securing my face. But earlier today, I had like slap marks on my face. And then there are handcuff marks on my hands as well. So yeah, these guys took me and they were like, oh, why do I have that kind of money in my account? They opened up my account, by the way. Opened my savings and all that. Mind you, I just like got a place. I'm trying to furnish the place. So I've been trying to like gather funds and all that, because like it's not small money. So I'm trying to furnish it. I'm trying to like just get myself, you know. And these people just opened my accounts, asked me to send everything to one account. The first thing that they said was, you're going to pay 6 million. And I'm like, how? Like, these guys, I could barely breathe. That's how bad it was. The only prayer I was saying was, God, let me just make it out alive, because I've heard stories of how they kill people, how they made someone cripple. They took me to a POS stand and I transferred the money to the girl. Now, why would the girl even have that kind of money cash? That's what I'm even like thinking about, because why would she have such amount of money in cash? So she gives them cash, and then they took me somewhere and were threatening to kill me. They were like, if I don't cooperate, they're going to kill me now, that I should just come down and just be going. Like, they didn't give me 1 naira to go home. Like, these guys didn't leave 1,000 naira in my account. And they were threatening to kill me. They literally showed me where they're going to kill me and throw me. It was that, and these are police officers. They were fully dressed in police uniforms, no badges, no plate numbers, nothing, because I was checking. But they had the police, this thing. And people are saying I should go back to the police. To do what? I should go back to the police to do what? This is not the first time this kind of things happen. Why are they harassing young people in Port Harcourt? Why? We need to leave. If you can leave this country, just...
Okay. Beyond heartbreaking, this account, and what's even more heartbreaking, first of all, they humiliated him. Not only did they rob Iyo Prosper, he was humiliated, treated in a way that a human being should not be treated. And what's even sad about this is that Prosper is not the first, and unfortunately might not be the last. I say might because I'm trying to be hopeful. that we'll see change in Nigeria, but he might not be the last young person who will experience the wickedness of the Nigerian police. Now, we're expecting that, because there are many who would argue, how are we sure they are the police? What if they were criminals? Whether or not they are actually the police. This is a point where we're expecting the Commissioner of Police in Rivers State, the Commissioner of Police in Bayelsa State. We want to hear statements. We want to see that these men are fished out. Unfortunately, he said he kept checking to try and see if there's a way he could identify them. But when you're put in that kind of situation, handcuffed, you're beating, that's the last thing you can see. He couldn't get a plate number. He couldn't get a means to identify them. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they need to fish these people out. It reminds us yet again where we are as a nation, where young people feel the need to protect themselves. And part of what protecting themselves looks like sometimes is leaving the country. We saw the after effect of the End House protests in 2020. That was a turning point for a number of people who left the country because they felt, if I cannot feel safe in my country, what am I doing here? That's the very least you can ask for as a Nigerian. One of your rights enshrined in the Constitution is the right to dignity of human person. And that is not in any way, shape or form a dignified way to treat a Nigerian citizen.
It's sad, Olive. But I think my look into this I have a different view, a divergent view on this. I mean, first of all, nobody should go through this because you will no longer remain the same. You'll be traumatized every time you go out. You keep watching behind your shoulders. You don't know who's coming behind you or in front of you just because you have faced this before. However, I would like to take his statement as an alleged statement because, for one, we cannot fully say that these guys are police officers. We have instances where thieves are being caught. They are perpetrators. They just disguise as police officers. They get the uniform, they wear it. I mean, just recently, a king was caught where he was saying he was a king. King of what? And he attended the king's event until some people said, come, what kingdom do you... And he couldn't speak, but he had the entire regalia, complete. So we have these instances where people dress as policemen, complete. Hence why the police force had to put out a statement some years back, reminding skit makers and content creators that you cannot be using the police uniform. You must get clearance, especially for movie actors, but that's a different story. In his case, there's no identity. So it's hard to even trace who these people are. The car had no plate number, big problem. The states and the areas, the streets, there's no camera, challenge. So you cannot say, just as is done in saner climes or abroad, with all the money Nigeria has, you can't trace from street one and watch them on camera and say, okay, they moved here, and so on. But I have one suggestion. The suggestion is, let them trace back to the POS lady who gave them that money. That is the only person that they can go to, and possibly with the policemen, and have a conversation with her.
Joe, if the police want to fish out these people, they can. The police are very active.
I mean,
they're able to crack...
I'm not denying that.
Because there have been robberies before now, and the police have always found these people, whether or not they're uniform. The reason why people can wear such uniforms without badges or names, the reason why people can drive these vehicles without plate number in the first place, if we go by your assumption that maybe they're criminals, right? It's because in the first place, how did it become okay to drive vehicles without plate number, to wear a police uniform without your name tag on it? How did we normalize all of that if we go by that argument?
Our society has become so porous that we make security directives, we give instructions to just the citizens, but we don't care about how those in power are being treated. Because take, for instance, now, just as he mentioned, in Lagos here, you have policemen in those small Korokwe buses going around and picking people.
So that's what I'm saying exactly. At the end of the day, I will still hold the police responsible in many cases because it's why certain things, because this has become a habit, it's gone unchecked. It's become part of our norm to see policemen in those buses that don't have plate numbers, Korokwe buses, you know. When those kind of things happen, of course, citizens will assume that these people are police officers. So whether or not they're police officers, we are calling on the Commissioner of Police in Rivers State and the Commissioner of Police in Bayelsa State. This matter needs to be followed to the letter. It needs to be investigated. The culprits need to be arrested and made to face their day in court. And my heart really goes out to you, Prosper. I can't imagine the level of trauma. I did reach out to him to join us on the show, but unfortunately he was too traumatized to speak. Enough is enough. Let Nigerian youths breathe. Let's now go to our final story this morning on Wake Up Conversations. A throwback video of President Bola Tinubu speaking on the fight against corruption has resurfaced online, sparking widespread debate across social media and political circles. In the video, the president is seen outlining strong positions on tackling corruption and public accountability, remarks that have now drawn renewed scrutiny amid ongoing national conversations about governance and integrity.
When Felix doesn't need to look for 4 million at a time to buy a little car, when that car is assembled here and he has a credit finance associated with it, the credit finance in turn will move the production, increasing the production demand. The availability of credit will equally multiply the need and the purchase and disposal. In its multiplication effect is the man who fabricates the brake pads. The ordinary locksmith for the boot of the car will make money. We can and we will. We will change the dynamics of those inefficiencies, talking about potential. Potential. Potential that is pregnant with so many things and never had a delivery of life birth. We will drive Nigeria potential to reality of delivery of progressive birth, life birth of industrialization, progress, manufacturing, industrialization, and electricity.
Well, I'm sure you're wondering why that video is being played, because on social media throughout yesterday, that video was trending. Everyone was highlighting it and saying, have we forgotten so soon? We've not seen, they say the potential is pregnant. He never born. This is almost 3 years. The pregnancy shouldn't last more than a year now, or max, or 9 months. But Nigerians are talking, especially using that video as a case study. The president had talked about localizing in terms of ensuring that those locally made products, services, name it what you want to call it, will thrive under his leadership. But as it stands now, we've not seen Nigerian leaders buying Nigerian-made cars. They're buying foreign cars. As it stands now, Uche, who he did mention somehow in his speech about brake parts and so on, his shop has been locked. As we speak now, he's being chased out of his shop because he's told if it doesn't open due to insecurity. As we speak now, some of the shops have been burnt down to the ground and there's no credit. The president did talk about when they have credits, they have this. As we speak now, you cannot even get credit in the bank because the percentage is too high. As we speak now, you cannot even buy a new car. It will take Tom, who has worked in the bank for 14 years, and Tom is just 38. He cannot buy a car because he cannot walk into the car store and say, give me this car. When they tell him the cost, 30 million. Tom will look at his salary. His salary is just...
That 30 million is for which car first? It's not for Tiero Basha.
It's not... Well,
except it's small
Tiero, that's what I mean.
Very
and
small
his salary
Tiero.
is just 150K.
Because that's literally like...
He would walk back like Michael Jackson and say, this dream is not for me. So, while that video was trending, Nigerians were talking. Let's see what Nigerians are saying on X very quickly, just to highlight some of the stories there. With all due respect, sir, action speaks louder than words. That's what Lizzie of Blaze says, looking through that video. But Jagaban actually knows what Nigeria's problem is. So what changed? That's the question. What changed? That's what they ask it. Me self don't understand waiting they talk or waiting pay me pass. Now those people where they clap. And very fair. People always clap at every single speech. Even when they sneeze, they clap. Since this man became president, nobody in the APC has been tried for corruption. Same thing with Lagos State too. Anyway, that's all. Let us know your thoughts. We're streaming live on all socials, on YouTube, Facebook, X, and you can find us as well on other platforms. Let us know what you think. If you have a comment or two, please drop it. We do have our first guest who's in, and we're ready to go straight into our very first conversation. In the course of the programming, we'll take your comments right there on YouTube, so do well to drop a comment or two. Let's bring to you what our top stories are today on a Thursday morning here on Breakfast Central. Thursday morning edition of Breakfast Central. National grid collapse persists. What's the way forward? We'll also look at the police as they fire tear gas. The residents protesting at concerning Makoko demolitions. We do hear babies, children were affected yesterday. Alleged bandit funded. Shuaibu Liman slams Kasina local government over alleged payment to bandits. And also look at Kabusa Waru residents demand basic amenities ahead of FCT Council polls. Plus, the front pages of the newspapers. You can have your say. Stay here. It's Breakfast Central. Stay with us.